Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for 10-14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 15th of January, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS at ECM Ensembles. May run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for February. And that's coming up at the end of the video. Now, the start of the video is going to be with the JMA month-head chart. So I haven't been able to do JMA Friday today. I've been waiting. That's the reason this video is a little bit late. I've been waiting to see if the CFS Weeklies would update. They have not again updated. So they haven't updated since New Year's Eve. You wouldn't believe that, like, a change of the just a change of the year would not knock those out, would you, for like days on end? But it seems that's what's happened. I don't know if that's what it is, but it is a coincidence that the last time they updated was New Year's Eve. But anyway, the upshot is no JMA Friday this week. However, we have got the JMA month head charts that we are going to start this video with. So it's kind of like a 10-14 day combined with a JMA Friday, I guess. And I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that if you enjoy the content on the channel, please you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. We have now gone well past 17.6k. Thank you so much, everybody. We're on to 17.7k now, 17,777. That's a big number, isn't it? So we're on to 17.7k. If you could give us a sub, please could you do so? Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. I'm going to be live, by the way, at 10:30. So I've got two live streams coming up today, actually. 6 p.m. we've got channel member live streams. So if you're a channel member, then please check in to your channel member stream. Do a once-month stream just for channel members on the first Friday of the month. So that's coming up at 6 p.m. And then I'll have a little break for the evening, and then I'm going live again at 10:30 with the pub run. So going to be a busy old evening for Gav. A big busy day. You notice decorations are down in the towers as well. So it's all happening. Isn't it? Right, okay, let's start off with the JMA then. So here we go. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of an extended 10-14 day. As we've got this to do first of all before we actually get on to the 10-14 day section of the video. So we're going to start off with the week 1 500 millibar height on the charts from the Arctic and North Pole view down. This would be North Pole just here, wider Arctic circle around there, and then we've got the latitudes through here. So blues extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure, yellow, orange, and red to above average heights, which is high pressure. But to break down into weekly periods, the first week period will take us from the 5th through to 12th of January. A blocking signal in the week ahead, above average heights, high pressure over and to the north of the country, which is there, by the way, with low pressure going to the south of it. That should be bringing the wind in from a cooler or a colder easterly direction via that blocking area of high pressure. Week 2 sends the high pressure into a retrograde. So the JMA is sending that high pressure up to Greenland and centering it there with low pressure to the south and east of it. And again, winds coming in from a cold north-northeasterly direction. So a cold first half to January. With the JMA there, that gets us from the 12th to the 19th of January. And then weeks 3 and 4, taking us from the 19th of January to the 2nd of February. Again, it's quite a strong blocking signal, maybe a little bit more toward the Canadian side of Greenland. Low pressure underneath it. Looks generally like it should be quite cold there, I have to say. Possibly a little bit of moderation for more southern areas with more of a southerly flow. But to be honest, it looks pretty blocked for the next 4 weeks, so I'd expect we would get quite a bit of cold weather even into the second half of January. Right, so this is how the tropical and mid-latitude view looks. We can't see the North Pole, Greenland, Arctic, all those areas off the chart up here. We're in the top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. You can visit Greenland's up here. We've got the high pressure. You can visit Greenland's up there, and Iceland. We've got high pressure up to there, and then down into country for week 1 on the 500 millibar height zone. It's a colder than average week to come. Look at this, big change on what we've had since the beginning of December anyway, with temperatures going significantly below average. Most parts of Europe looking pretty cold as well for week 1, and as far as the precipitation anomaly is concerned, so that's coming out drier than average, especially so to our northwest. Then we go through to week 2. which again is B12 up to the 19th of January, still with the blocking to the north. You can see it into the top of the chart, but it extends back up there. Low pressure to our south, and winds again coming in from that cold east-northeasterly direction. Again, it is a cold average week, perhaps even a little bit colder in week 2 than it is in week 1. Again, significantly below average temperatures forecast. And as far as precipitation is concerned, overall a little bit on the dry but average side, but it won't be completely dry, and you would expect some precipitation around, and with it being so cold potentially, you expect that precipitation probably to be of a wintry flavour, of a snow flavour. You can see a little bit of blue just there in the North Sea telling us that those east-northeast winds could be bringing in precipitation from off the North Sea. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, which will be the 19th of January, 2nd of February. Still looking blocked, but blocking maybe a little bit more towards the Canadian side of Greenland. If anything, we have got a trough of low pressure into the south underneath that blocking feature as well, just here. The temperature is still a bit below average, not quite as cold, but for a 2-week anomaly, it's still quite a strong signal actually. This is a cold January being forecast with the JMA today. Again, we can't say how the CFS would have compared to this because it's not updated for days. Maybe the CFS is had a breakdown because it would have to forecast snow and cold weather. So it's perhaps just refusing to give out the charts at the moment. It's funny, isn't it? Anyway, precipitation-wise, low pressure bringing more away precipitation. So it's still quite cold and an increasing precipitation anomaly there. So maybe we could be in for a wintry second half to, well, it's going to be a wintry month, it's going to be a cold month if that's right, but that's a great risk of snow as we go into the second half of January there. How to wait and see. Right, let's pause the video very quickly, and then we'll get ourselves set up for the rest of the 10 to 14 day. That's the JMA Friday part of the video done though. Okay, we're back. We're ready to go through the rest of the 10 to 14 day part of the video now. So here we go. Look at this. Strat warming has occurred. Very significant strat warming has occurred at 10 HPA over the North Pole. Look at that black line has shot up from yesterday. It's now up to around -20. At this point of the year, we should be somewhere, the grey line of course is the trend, so at this time of year we should be somewhere around -65, so -65 to -55 to 45 to 35 to 25, so we're about 45, 50 degrees above average. That is a very, very significant warming of the stratosphere, although that's not going to be enough to send the solar wind into reverse, so this won't be classified as a major sudden stratospheric warming event officially. Nevertheless, this is a very significant warming of the stratosphere. It will disrupt the polar vortex. So it will weaken the polar vortex, will disrupt the polar vortex, weaken the solar wind, etc., etc., etc. And I suspect that's what we're seeing playing out with model output in terms of trying to retrograde the high pressure and set up blocking. I suspect that is the result of these stratospheric developments, very dramatic stratospheric developments indeed. I feel that's about as high as it's going to get. Yesterday was the peak of strat warming, so I would expect this to level off and then start gradually easing back down again as we go through the next week or two. This is how excuse me, this is how the latest temperature forecast looking for 10 HPA over North Pole from the GFS 6 Everett, which is again these red orange colours, this is a significant warming of stratosphere moving from Russian Siberia in towards the North Pole as well. The blue colours, that's polar vortex at its root, displaced out of pole and into the mid latitudes at the stratospheric level. Another warming, so the first one sort of fades out, then another warming begins to try getting going over Russia as we go through to the 13th of January. And all in all, just keeping the polar vortex, those blue colours, disrupted and displaced, right the way through to the end of the GFS run, which gets us to the 21st of January. So further disruption, weakening, displacement of the PV predicted there, although not getting back to the kind of temperature level that we have had and are having at the moment in the stratosphere with that stratospheric warming event. Excuse me, the sectional temperature is sitting at 8.2. That's 4.4 degrees above 61 dynamic average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 4th of January. We're going to start seeing that coming down over the next few days. Could be in for quite an entertaining come down from that. These were GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. On Taunton today, suggested location for this part of the video. If you'd like to have your local town or city feature within this part of the video, then please let us know. And we're more than happy to do that for you. So, becoming cooler, temperatures on a downwards trend over the next few days. So, becoming cooler, colder as we go from this week into next week. But get a little bit of a tick up in the upper air temperature in the middle part of next week. That's as high pressure sort of sits over the top of the country, and then we get another drop as we go through to the middle and second half of January. That's where we're looking to possibly send the high pressure into retrograde and send it up to Greenland, and if we do that, then we could pull into the very cold northeasterly winds. There's a bit of scatter within that, so it's at the same range. It's like from the 15th January onwards, so there is a bit of scatter in there, extended range, telling us that it's not a done deal, but we're going to send that high pressure up to Greenland. A lot of the time with retrogression, the high pressure doesn't retrogress enough to get it centered over Greenland and bring in those real northeasterly winds, and we stick close to the high pressure. So they've got to be cautious about this and wait and see where we go. But it does look as though it's generally cold anyway for the for the next couple of weeks. Generally below average temperatures will give us a cold first half of January, despite the very mild start. I think temperature anomalies, confirming that temperature anomalies for the 5th to the 13th of January. Coming out below average for... Oh, I didn't have a look at snow row. Hang on, let's have a quick look at snow row. So let's do that. So not much in way of snow until we get into the second half of January. And then the snow spikes do start picking up a little bit. So we're looking at 15th January on for Taunton anyway to be getting some snow. I think that's fairly representative of much of the country. Right, temperature anomalies from the 5th to 13th January coming out below average, not just the UK but through most parts of Europe actually. Precipitation anomalies from the 5th, 13th of January, drier than normal. So that's a big change on the deluge that we've had over the past several weeks, even several months, becoming significantly drier, but also colder. That's the price to pay. Temperatures will be dropping as it turns drier. Latest Windflow Map from earthnullschool.net shows that low pressure is to our north and moving away to the east. And we've got, you see this break here, so more low pressure just there, but you see this break here, that's where we've got a ridge of high pressure starting to get going, and that ridge of high pressure will be moving in from the west as we go into the next few days, and will bring drier conditions. Right, let's go through the chart data then. This is our latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Monday. High pressure over to the northeast, country winds coming in from a pretty cold easterly direction, possibly enough of an easterly to bring some snow flows into southern southeastern regions there Monday and Tuesday. Otherwise, it's just dry and cold, though, through most parts of the country. And we keep that dry weather going through the middle part of the week. Changing the wind direction, more of a sea trek will probably bring in a bit more cloud and just lift the temperature up a little bit. But it will still be cold throughout most of next week with further overnight frost. That's how we're going to get to the end of the UK Met Euro around high pressure dominating. Weather is that high pressure on its way up to Greenland. It looks like it might be starting to ridge in that sort of direction, doesn't it? It looks like it could be going up towards Greenland there by the 12th of January. Right, okay, this is Icon. So again, we've got high pressure dominating to our northeast on Monday, bringing in those east northeasterly winds, keeping it cold through to Tuesday, and high pressure sitting close to the country as we go through Wednesday and Thursday with a lot of dry weather. And then the high pressure starting to move right at the very end of the Icon run. It gets us 12th of January. It looks like the high pressure begins to go into retrograde. Shame we can't go another 24 hours to see whether we want to set up a proper Greenland high, but it looks like it's going in that direction. Looks like sending the high pressure up to there, and this trough of low then would be forced in that direction, and that should get wind into the north and to the northeast if everything comes together. But we've got to retrograde the high pressure properly up to Greenland, and that is where some of the time these scenarios can go wrong. Right, so that's that one done. Do me again, everybody. KMA, once more for Monday. Again, bringing that cold easterly wind. Could be a few snow flurries down in the south. Keep those cold easterlies going for Tuesday as well. A little kink in the iceberg there, maybe suggesting a trough or something coming across the south. That might just pep up the wintry shower potential through the early part of next week. But not be huge amounts of snow next week because it is an anticyclonic signal. The high pressure sits over the country into second half next week. Then into next weekend, the high pressure goes into retrogression. Look at that, setting up a proper blocking feature in the North Atlantic, close to Greenland, Iceland. That gets the wind into the northeast, so colder air pushing in from the northeast. That'll be bringing snow showers with it. This area of low pressure around northern France is interesting as well. That tries to push up into that cold air. That gets shunted off into France, actually, by the cold air. And it does look very cold, I have to say, around the middle part of January for KMA, bringing a bitterly cold east-northeasterly with there and maintained up to the end of the KMA run, which gets us to the 17th. If you want a prolonged cold spell, the KMA looks really good for that. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking. Again, high pressure up towards Scandinavia on Monday, bringing in the wind from an easterly direction. Might be a few wintry showers down the south. Otherwise, it's dry through most of next week. Later next week, we start trying to get that high pressure into retrogression. It does push up towards Greenland to some degree, but doesn't get there all that convincingly. That's how we look by the 15th of January. So then we are pulling in a cold northeasterly wind across the country. It's not long until that high pressure starts sinking back down again. So a brief sort of push of very cold air from the northeast, and then we're under the high pressure as we get into the second half of January. So that's the 17th. Well beyond day 10 now, that the high pressure quickly sinking back again. That's happening because of all this energy in the North Atlantic, this low just here. No, to get a proper sustained blocking pattern, you've got to get rid of those areas of low pressure in the North Atlantic. And so, because of the energy in the Atlantic, the blocking just collapses southwards again quite quickly. And we finish up looking relatively mild, actually, with the GFS midnight run going back into estimating. So I wouldn't say the GFS midnight run goes wrong there with the retrogression, because it does send the high into retrograde. It does pull in for a couple of days anyway what looks like a very cold northeasterly, but it is quite brief. Now this time the GFS 6Z run is looking again high pressure up towards Scandinavia, bringing the wind from the east on Monday. Most of the east is going into France, so one for GFS 6Z run, so we don't get much of an east. I mean, not much wintry shower potential there for the south, I don't think. But still cold, though, so next week, anticyclonic and cold, dry. This should be end of next week into next weekend, so Saturday 13th. Again, the high pressure is going into retrograde, starting to push northwards. We are bringing in the wind from the northeasterly direction there by Sunday the 14th. But again, very quick, that high pressure starts snipping that south. In fact, it never really sets up a proper Greenland block. So day 10, I mean, we are cold, don't get wrong, but most of the cold is actually over on the continent, looking really bitterly cold over on the continent at day 10. We're kind of on the periphery of it, probably bringing some very cold air into the east. That high pressure just not retrogressing enough to set up a proper sustained northern blocking pattern. And as I said, that is something that does happen a lot of the time with this scenario of retrogressing high pressure to Greenland. If there's too much energy in the Atlantic, it won't retrogress to the point where it sets up a proper blocking feature. So just staying anticyclonic, mostly dry and cold, really, as we go into the second half of January with the GFS 6 there, but nothing notably cold happening there. We finish up starting to draw in some milder air around the top of the high. Suggests a lot of frost and fog, I think, the GFS 6 there, but not all that much in the way of snow and genuinely wintry conditions. It just adds a little bit of a warning note, you know, the GFS is wobbling a little bit today on its own terms. That's what the GFS does, so it could easily wobble back to a very block pattern on the next GFS run or something. But it does add a little bit of a warning note, you know, with this. It isn't a done deal. We are talking about quite a few days away to get this retrogression of the high pressure. So we have got to stay cautious on it. If you enjoyed the video, please you like, share and subscribe. Make sure you everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Don't forget to friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. GM, again, with high pressure dominating the weather on Monday, bringing those easterly winds into the south through into Tuesday as well. Could be a few snow flurries. Then second half of the week, we start moving high pressure out into the Atlantic. Though we do send the high pressure up to Greenland actually, and we almost pull down a very cold northerly wind. But before the northerly can set in, this low down. So this is a different way, but it can go a little bit wrong. Before we actually get the northerly in, and it wants to come southwards there on Sunday the 14th. Before we do that, this low here starts pushing up from the south. Now there is a big boundary with the temperature, upper air temperatures there by 15th January. So England and Wales looks quite mild, Scotland looks quite cold, and that's the kind of thing that might set up a heavy rain or a heavy snow event, depending on how strongly southwards this northerly can push. So quite interesting GM, but again it is stopping that northerly getting through though. That's the only thing with that area of low pressure. And then the east looking like that again. High pressure towards Scandinavia, bring wind in for that easterly direction on Monday. Looking cold through the beginning of next week. High pressure then sitting around the country through the middle of the week. Then the high pressure starts moving into retrograde, start going into retrograde by the end of next week and into weekend of 13th, 14th of January. The high pressure goes up to Greenland. No problem at all with the ECM. That's the kind of thing all of the model output was showing yesterday, and some of it still is today, but just wobbling a little bit on some of the model output. But the ECM, rock solid, sends that high pressure properly up to Greenland, sets up a proper blocking feature, a mid-Atlantic ridge, which gets itself into Greenland and brings down a properly cold northerly wind. And you can see my 10 cells iceberg flooding southwards on those north or northeasts. So no issue at all really with the ECM in turning things much colder there by the middle of January. Missing a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. Again, a lot of dry weather now. The emphasis is shifting from all of the rain, all the deluge, to dry weather. A few wintry showers through the channel there through the early part of next week, but really we're high and dry with that high pressure through next week until it goes into retrogression. Then we've got a cold front coming southwards. That's a cold front moving southwards just there. Behind that, we open the door to those cold northerly winds, and look what happens by day 10. The ECM turns very wintry, lots of heavy snow showers pushing southwards on those cold, unstable northerlies. These are the odds on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us 15th of January from the Icelandic Metop. It's 19 members of the ECM ensembles with a trough of low pressure across the north and west Europe. High pressure is out in the Atlantic going up to Greenland, and winds coming in from a cold north or northeasterly direction there. We have got 16 again with a mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland, trough of low through Scandinavia. That's bringing down cold northern winds. So there's some low pressure to the south, but pushing up into that cold air potentially. So all sorts of funny games will be possible with that. That's kind of like the GEM scenario, I think. And then we've got 16 here again with high pressure in the North Atlantic going to Greenland, low pressure to our east again, winds coming in from a cold north or northeast direction. So all options looking cold and blocked there with the ECM ensembles as we as we're going into the day 10 period. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It will get us to the 20th of January. 18 members of the ECM ensembles again with mid-Atlantic ridge going to Greenland, trough of low pressure over to the east of the country. Winds again still coming in for a cold northeasterly direction. We have got 18 with low pressure again through the country. The high pressure, the block is beginning to slip south, so trying to bring something a bit milder into the west of Europe there, but probably still quite cold and wintry really on that scenario. And then we've got 15 with high pressure just inching a little bit further southwards towards the northwest of Scotland. That will still be pretty cold, mostly dry, winds coming in from the northeasterly direction there. So day 10 and day 14, 15, generally the ECM is still looking pretty cold, I think. And then finally got the CFS for February. So this would be 700 millibar height anomaly from the CFS for February. I don't know why the CFS Monthly is updating, but CFS Weeklies aren't. That's quite odd, because it's all the same model, really, I think. But anyway, this is how the CFS Monthly is looking today, 700 millibar height anomaly. Remember, this changes daily, but this looks really epic for February if you want along a cold February with blocking around Iceland and Greenland, trough of low pressure, underneath that blocking, and winds coming in from a cold northeasterly direction. So CFS going for a cold February there, although the temperature anomaly shows no signal, but Northern Europe looks very cold. I see no reason why we wouldn't have a colder than average February with that height anomaly. And precipitation looks like that, so it's a little bit drier than average away to our northwest and a little bit west average down to our south. We'll see about that because we've got enough to focus on in the next week, 10 days actually, with this idea of a retrogressing high pressure. Right, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. 25 minutes, not too bad really, considering how that JMA data to get through first. But yeah, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Again, behind going through the comments, or replying to the comments anyway. I do see them, but I haven't replied to them. Yeah, and I have got to, very least give everyone a like and a heart for all of their lovely New Year messages. So I'm going to get onto that in the next day or two. Please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, so 2 live streams for now. 6 PM on live for channel members. So if you are a channel member, please check in to your channel member live stream for January. And then on to half 10, we're going to be doing the pub run. We'll do pub run live. That'll be coming up at 10:30. I'll tell you what's happening on the channel over the weekend. So tomorrow, we have a 6 AM UK weather forecast. Going to have the EC46 there. You'll find out then whether the EC46 day extended model is agreeing with what we saw from the JMA in this video. There'll be a weekend forecast and a 10 to 14 day as well. So epic day of content tomorrow. And then on Saturday, we've got 6 AM UK weather forecast. Long range updates are back. We're going to have a first update for spring. Spring 2024 will be coming up on Sunday at 10 AM. Will Fluffy be back though? You'll find out on the first spring update. There'll be a 10 to 14 day in the afternoon, and then we'll do Ensembles watch and have a look at some long range in our Sunday evening live stream. That'll be coming up at 6 PM on Sunday. You enjoy the rest of your Friday though, and for this one, that's all for now, and thanks so much.